But first, that new poll this morning with good news for Pete Buttigieg and bad news for Joe Biden. In the Boston Globe's daily tracking poll from New Hampshire, Buttigieg is now closing in on Bernie Sanders, who's in first place at 24%. Buttigieg is right behind at 23%, up 4 points since yesterday, while Sanders is down 1. Elizabeth Warren took the third place spot that Biden held yesterday. She's now at 13%, with Biden at 11.
Adrian,
so
it appears we have two wings now. We have the top progressive and the top moderate. And that's Bernie Sanders and Pete Buttigieg. That's how it played out in Iowa. Then we have the second tier progressive and the second tier moderate. And that, of course, is Elizabeth Warren and Joe Biden. And it looks like some polls we've seen over the past couple of days are bearing that out again, as it was in Iowa. So it looks like it may be in New Hampshire.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens on Tuesday, Joe, the first state where people are actually voting, not caucusing in the Democratic primary process. But, you know, think about this. Last week during, sort of the fiasco that was Monday night in Iowa, you'll recall Mayor Pete went out there pretty early on, gave a really resounding speech, took advantage of the vacuum that existed in the national media while all the cable pundits, all of us were sort of talking about what's going on, when are the results coming in. We had all this airtime to fill. Mayor Pete went out there pretty quickly and spoke to the audience and sort of declared victory, or at least gave a very inspirational, I feel pretty good about where I am type of speech. I think that really helped him. You know, he's been really, playing up his Iowa results, even though, of course, we still don't know definitively who the winner is. It's obviously very close between him and Bernie Sanders. But the point is, he really capitalized on that moment and has continued to capitalize on that throughout the course of this week. I think that's been very helpful to him because even though, again, we're still waiting for the final, the results are in, but we're still waiting for the final tabulations. Mayor Pete went ahead and said, you know what, I did really well in Iowa. I'm going to message this effectively going into New Hampshire. And I think that's one of the reasons why you're seeing him really get this bounce out of a state that still is, kind of chaotic, and we're still trying to figure out exactly what happened on Monday night.
Yeah, and Donnie, that bounce is bigger even than our graphic indicates. If we put that poll up again, if you look at how far people are up and down, that's just over 1 day. This is a 4-day tracking poll. Over the 4 days, Mayor Pete is up 12 points. So sort of the post-Iowa is plus 12. Biden is down 7 points since then. Joe Biden was off the campaign trail yesterday, 5 days ahead of the vote, back in Wilmington with his campaign, his advisors, figuring out what they got to do. They've got a debate tonight at St. Anselm College. If you were in that room in Wilmington, what would you be saying to Joe Biden?
I'd be saying, Joe, it's now or never. Joe needs kind of a real breakout performance tonight. You know, what's interesting, it's no surprise that as Biden goes down, Buttigieg goes up, and it's kind of the anti-Bernie thing is there's nowhere else to go for moderates. That's it. There's no other flavor in town except, and I've brought this up many times on the show, who's looming? It's Mike Bloomberg. Yep. I keep saying that the more this kind of becomes I think 538 has Bernie as a 50% chance of getting the election, getting the nomination right now. As that continues to happen, Bloomberg becomes a very viable option. He's doubled down. He's at 2,400 gross rating points, which if you're a TV viewer means that's all you see. It is, and I will contest that you will continue to see that rise. There's real panic setting in now, and as well there should be. This was the worst week in democracy in my adult life when you combine, obviously, the acquittal. But the scary thing is the dysfunction in Iowa gives Trump a hand grenade from now till the election. If he loses the election, to say, which we always know what he was going to say, that this is not a fair election. He has that hand grenade in his belt now. And to me, it was just as devastating to democracy what happened in Iowa as what happened with the acquittal.
Yeah, Mika,
I was just going
to say, Mika, it's clear, too, that Joe Biden knows that there's a problem. There's a reason he came off the campaign trail. They're sort of trying to reset there. And by the way, before he gets to South Carolina, which we keep talking about as his firewall because it's a more diverse state, is Nevada. And they've moved a bunch of their ad money from South Carolina to Nevada because they know he can't do poorly in Iowa, New Hampshire, potentially Nevada, and then still count on South Carolina saving him.
Bad start, to say the least. So
Thanks for checking out MSNBC on YouTube, and make sure you subscribe to stay up to date on the day's biggest stories. And you can click on any of the videos around us to watch more from Morning Joe and MSNBC. Thanks so much for watching.